Hi, you're listening to
The
Four
Four
Takeaway
Takeaway Podcast.
where we talk about anything and everything on the menu from movies, music, gossip, news, etc. through the eyes of four rather weird individuals.
I'm Heiko.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Hammad.
I'm Yas, and in this episode, Heiko and Hanna go back in time to... Wait, go back in time? Where did they go?
Yo, they're missing.
Would you like that for dining or for takeaway?
For takeaway.
Time traveling.
Ah,
No,
yes.
we're actually not time traveling, but we are doing something exciting. How much do you remember from the last decades?
Last decade... Oh, I shut most of it out. Like, I repressed a big... chunk.
Remember, it's 2010 to 2020.
Oh!
Last decade.
Oh, yeah, no, true, yeah.
Yeah.
I repressed a lot of
Really?
those. Yeah,
Well,
those
a
were
lot of
my-
things happened, a lot
those
of
are
controversial
my-
things, but we are not going to focus on the things that you might remember so well. Instead,
Mhm.
you were going to focus on some things that you might have known or you might have forgotten.
That's just in the back of our heads.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm excited.
So,
'Cause
we're
that's
going to
gonna be-
juggle your memory and unleash all those PTSD. I'm kidding.
Is it gonna be nostalgia
The
overload?
numbers, Mason.
Not an overload.
Hopefully.
What do the
Not an
numbers
overload,
mean?
Oh, okay.
but there are some points though where I'd warn you that I really did my research on, so it might take a while. But
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
she's
gonna
gonna
balance it
smite you
out.
Nostalgic research.
with nostalgia.
So shall we begin?
We
I
should.
think we shall. But I also think it's my turn, right?
Yes, it's your turn.
That's so nice. You gave such an ominous intro, such an ominous introduction.
Mm-hmm.
My first entry is going to shatter your stereotypes you had
Uh-oh.
for and about Canadians.
Canadians.
Canadian people. Yeah.
Mhm.
Didn't
It's
they
gonna
send out
shatter
the
them, not
coronavirus?
the people, the stereotypes. Like with a baseball bat, like a metal baseball bat.
Or a
just
hockey
right in the
stick,
face
because it's
of the
Canadian.
stereotypes.
Brutal.
Sorry. Remember June 15? No, yeah. Remember June 15th, 2011?
I actually don't have any idea, but
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
you would. Oh.
Stereotype 1. We know that Canadian people like hockey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh huh.
Mm-hmm. You know that Canadian people are very super nice and gentle?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Aha.
What did you say?
super
Sorry.
nice
Wrong.
and gentle.
Sorry.
Wrong.
What did you say? Eh?
So it's Wednesday, June 15th. It was the day of the Stanley Cup finals. So the finals of the championship series of the National Hockey League. NHL, you might have heard about that. Like the Super Bowl of hockey. And the last game took place in the
Uh-huh.
Rogers Arena in Vancouver. And guess what happened?
A riot.
Is it a stampede of some sort?
Haha. Usually you should be saying now, oh, Canadians, they probably just watched the game and said, oh, what a bummer, let's go home. No, that's not what happened. Vancouver lost. And usually you'd
riot.
expect usually you'd expect Canadians to react in the way I just told you, but that's not what happened. As soon as the game came to a close, spectators began throwing bottles and other objects at the large screens in the viewing arena. And like you both said, a riot happened.
Oof. Well,
Whoa.
it's been scientifically
'Cause they
proven by
lost?
multiple studies that when you give a hockey stick to a Canadian or put a Canadian in the vicinity of a hockey stick, they turn from the most polite people in the world into the most volatile and belligerent species of humanity.
I concur.
Scientifically proven.
I agree with this.
That's why
I have come across those studies as well.
their rifles from World War II were vaguely shaped like hockey sticks to invoke the same level of violence within their soldiers. See,
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah,
Wow.
this one is known as the Stanley Cup riots, and it was the aftermath of the match between the Canucks. Oh, I'm not pronouncing this right. Canucks.
yeah, you got it.
Canucks.
Canucks.
I think
Canucks.
so.
Canucks.
Yeah.
It's weird
No,
because
no.
it's
Canucks.
weirdly similar to a German term for foreigners, which I'm not going to tell you right now.
Say it.
No,
Say it.
9.
Well, they're technically Canucks to you too, right? So
Okay. So yeah,
Okay.
they were playing against Boston, and the Boston team won. And as a result, or as like a present for their win, their jerseys were set afire and their flags and
Oh
all
my
that, all their
God.
merchandise.
Wow.
Not while they were still wearing them, but
my God.
that was a part of the riots. Rioters overturned some vehicles. There was one instance of a truck being set on fire, then overturned,
oh,
then set ablaze again. So
Whoa.
things went
Wait.
crazy.
There
With a
must
capital
have been
Z.
something that really
Crazy.
drove them to do that. Like, not just because they lost,
Well,
maybe because
another
I'm sure it's not the
scientific
first
No,
time they
has
we
been
know,
proven
we
is
know, we know that things get really heated up
With
in hockey.
sports.
That no, specifically hockey. That I don't know, a huge percentage of the audience would go there not just to watch the sport, but also the fight that's gonna happen eventually among players.
yeah. Hockey has this thing called
Oh.
instigating.
thing.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wait, Hannah, you have been to a hockey match in Canada, right?
Yeah, it was a
Did you
local
fight?
hockey game for Kamloops. No, but
Ooh,
it was
Kamloops.
peaceful.
You fought
So-
people?
Moving on.
Well, no, not moving on. Well, we are moving on to the next day, because here's something that can like mend that shattered image of Canadian people,
They picked up after themselves.
because they did a cleanup, right?
Oh,
So
that's
after the riot,
expected.
thousands of volunteers organized via texting, social media sites, and Facebook, Twitter, and such, to just clean up the damage. So
See,
there were an estimate.
it's with hockey stick, without hockey stick. It's the difference.
Wow, that would support your theory, Hammad. Yeah, so an estimated 15,000 volunteers, many taking a day off, stated that they went downtown to clean up the damage, just to show the people of the world, that not all Canadians are like that. And
that they're still nice.
and that they're still nice, yeah. Streets were reportedly clean at 10 a.m. Boarded up windows were covered in apologies, like little speech bubbles saying I'm sorry and such.
That's cute.
And here's the topping. You know Hudson Bay, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That retailer. They hosted a free pancake breakfast in thanks.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Wow.
See,
They
like,
brought
Tim
it back.
Hortons, eh?
yeah, I'm sorry, but I wouldn't expect that to happen if that whole riot thing happened in any other country. Like
Japan.
the next
Yeah.
day there'll be free pancake.
Yeah.
Well, in Japan,
That won't
wouldn't
happen.
happen in the first place. With Pino
The
riot.
what? Sorry.
In Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Japan there would be no riot.
Okay, well, what should be our segue to the next entry, huh?
Number
I hope
2.
the next one rings a bell.
So let's say 10 years ago, it's 2020, 10 years ago, getting a ride to a bar or a concert or to a club or something 10 years ago meant one of three things. It's either securing a designated driver who would be like the loser for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, I've been there. Like that was when I was about 18. So, yeah, usually the designated driver would be the rich kid driving their mom's minivan. So, yeah. Well, you could also just call a taxi and spend like 50% of your night's budget
Oh,
on
jeez,
that.
no.
Yeah.
Right, no? Or you could walk. And we walked a lot. But that all
Walking's good,
changed
though.
when what happened?
Uber.
And now it's your turn. When Uber happened, right. This is entry number 2.
Uber happened in 2010.
Well, technically, Uber happened in 2011,
11.
and then it took
What?
off. Yeah, here. That's why we're doing this. This is something that you know that happened, but you might have forgotten that it happened in the last 10 years.
What?
Yeah.
2011?
Yo, It's so great today.
Hi.
Someone can just
But
open an app.
it took off way later, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It got
like 2013, 14.
yeah, but
14
still,
rather.
right? You would have
2011.
It
Yeah.
could have been because
Continue,
people
Heiko.
didn't really trust the brand
Did
at
phones
first.
even
yeah.
exist back then?
Zoomers.
Well, yeah. And it's so great. Today, someone can just open an app, press a few buttons. There's a driver at the front door within a few minutes, ready to take you to the location of your choice. And most of the times you pay up front, right? So that means you can't pull a hit and run. And it feels a little more honest and trustworthy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it has gone global, right? I mean, have you been to a country where Uber wasn't a thing? I'm asking this question, but I've been to a lot
You've
of
been
countries.
to a country. Well,
Really?
Canada.
Moldova.
Kamloops didn't have Uber
Or any other?
Lithuania, maybe.
or any other app.
Okay,
Really?
I realized that was a
Tunisia,
stupid
Heiko.
question.
Uganda.
Wait, Kamloops didn't have any app like that?
Nope. We
Even
only had
Lyft
cabs.
or-
Nope.
What?
Zambia.
Yeah,
Have
we
you
have-
ever? No. Let me ask differently. Have you ever been to a major big city in
Zimbabwe.
the U.S.?
Oh no.
No.
They have it everywhere in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Kazakhstan.
Okay, want
Stop
to go through Eastern Europe? Should we just let you finish?
No. I'm just rattling off
Okay, yeah.
everything.
What is it with you in Eastern Europe?
Do you know when Grab became a thing in the Philippines?
It boomed most probably 3 years ago or like 2. Like 2018,
Really?
2017. Right? Or
It took a
not
little
sure.
longer out here
Like,
because people were distrustful of just getting in strangers' vehicles.
True. I can imagine.
that's so
But now you got things like Angkas and its other rival stuff where you just hop on someone's motorcycle.
Yes,
gonna
Heiko?
I was going to talk
What's
about how
next?
those services also bring you dinner. Well, there's Uber Eats.
Yeah, grab food over here.
Yeah, Uber Eats. Grab also has that now.
Yeah, grab
Your
food.
thing is really called
there's-
Grab Food. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grab Food.
Awesome.
And
Well,
then
what's the one
there's,
over
like
there in Saudi?
Postmates and
Yeah,
Grubhub
Postmates.
and Saudi. There's Marsul.
There's Marsul, there's Hunger,
Hunger
Station.
Station.
There's a lot.
There's
There's
also,
Uber
what's
Eats.
it? Kareem?
Yeah, Uber
just not in our
Eats,
city. Kareem, yeah.
Kareem.
There's also Kareem food.
Fried butter.
Anyway.
So here's a little fun fact for you. In
Mm-hmm.
Germany, Uber has had a hard time because taxi companies and unions have protested so much because Uber are taking them jobs. They took our jobs? No? Okay. Because they and today they only arrange trips with licensed car rental and taxi companies, which of course is not much cheaper than Uber as we know it, but apparently a little easier. And that's all due to the fact that in Germany, people who transport other people need to have a Personenbeförderungsschein.
Which
is-
There's no translation, Personenbeförderungsschein. It's for transportation in general, so it's not just exclusive to services
Yeah,
like Uber or
okay,
something, but it's something that's like highly official. You'd have to go to a very certain office to get that test done or to get that license, and that would enable you to become or to apply for being a taxi driver or Uber or whatever there is.
So basically, Uber and
Oh,
Grab
okay.
stuff just turned into another taxi company.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Do you need a license for a moped?
Yes.
Speaking of segways,
Oh, no, that's
Oh
good.
my god.
That's good.
Yeah, it's my turn.
Oh, wow.
So the year is 2012.
it's the end of the world.
Not yet. We'll get there.
Oh,
So in March 2012, there's a certain 30-minute documentary film released by a non-profit organization called Invisible Children with a purpose of documenting Joseph Kony, who is a Ugandan guerrilla and cult leader and an indicted
And-
war criminal
He was a cult leader?
and a fugitive from the
What?
International Criminal Court.
oh,
Oh, yeah.
If you're gonna be a
So-
warlord with children, you might as well be a cult leader.
Coney abducted according to this documentary, Coney abducted more than 60,000 children and converted them into soldiers
Where did he
for
get
his
all those?
Lord's Resistance Army, or LRA. And this video aimed to make Coney globally known and have him arrested by the end of 2012 for his many crimes and human rights abuses.
Wait,
So,
hold on. You're
yes.
Mandela affecting me so hard right now. So that thing really happened. It's not a hoax.
It is not a hoax. It did happen, but there are certain issues about this documentary. We'll get there later. Essentially, this video went super viral overnight.
Yeah.
It garnered about 100 million views in its first 6 days being online.
I mean, I know
Imagine that.
someone who was heavily affected by it.
Okay, should we get into that now or go into that later?
Wait, just yeah, you could go into it now. before
Okay.
I say it.
So Coney, this is 2012. Okay, when this started to get viral, this was the time where, like, the peak of my YouTube. No, actually, the start of the peak of my YouTube obsessive
Addiction.
Yeah,
Obsession.
'cause I
Success
was really
story.
young, and
Not yet.
and
not
then
yet.
I was, it was everywhere on YouTube at the time. So I was like, whoa, what? This is so. What's going on? So I shared it on Facebook. I tagged a lot of people, including
Oh, you were a part of the
including
craze.
Ate,
Yeah.
Kuya,
He
and
visited
a
me
lot
in
of
my
people.
room.
I was like,
oh yeah, look at this.
you-
He was so
yeah,
genuinely
you guys
worried.
have to watch this. Yeah, I was like really worried.
Yeah, I
you
did
guys
too.
have to watch this, and like
Yeah.
this is, and I was so proud because I was
Part
like-
of the
He was
people who know
doing
it.
the
yeah,
online
and part of the
activism
people
thing.
who raised awareness and
Exactly.
spread it to people.
And I'm actually going to talk about that because since it garnered a lot of attention, there were even merch and
Yeah.
promotional posters that were sold for this. So the hashtags Stop Coney and Coney 2012 went viral.
Or tons of
In
banners
April
everywhere.
20 there was in April 20 there was an event called Cover the Night which took place. So supporters were asked to put up posters in their hometowns for to spread awareness about this. Though the posts and announcements went viral worldwide, too few actions actually took place, like real actions. Gatherings only had about 3 to maximum 50 people, even if
What?
Jeez.
millions and millions of people were posting it.
That's kind of
Wow.
like
So,
Caesar's
What?
assassination.
And
Which
only a
brings
handful of people
me-
came together.
which brings me to the criticism
I am
of
shocked
this
and appalled.
specific movement or specific cause. So, though it is true there is such a Joseph Kony. People had dividing opinions about this. So first, the positives. People thought that it's good because it urged people to know more about what's happening in the not so well-known areas of the world, right? So it's a good thing. And the African Union announced that it has intentions to send an international brigade of 5,000 military troops from Uganda, South Sudan, Central African Republic, and Congo, which were countries where Kony's region of terror has been felt over the years. So these armies were led by Ugandan and US advisors so that these people would join the hunt for the rebel leader Joseph Kony and to neutralize him. So that's two good things at least. However, there's just too many negative criticism. First, they accused Invisible Children Incorporated, the organization that started this cause, with slacktivism. You guys heard about slacktivism?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a
so
nice
when you're
label.
supporting a cause by means of just
Mm-hmm.
sharing and liking social media posts or signing
Spreading
online petitions to
awareness.
feel good,
Thoughts and
without
prayers.
actually contributing to real life efforts.
Ooh,
Right?
like those posts where they say, "Okay, this kid has cancer. Like
Yeah.
him for
One like,
One
One
like,
prayer.
one prayer.
right." Or Bill Gates
Yeah.
has said he's gonna sponsor $8 per like and $20 per share.
That's why I always say only thoughts give you thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, so that's one. And the
I'm
documentary
bitter about
also
it.
was also wanting in terms of providing the full story. So it came out as if the creators just really wanted to be viral, that actually educating people on the matter
Was not
did
a
not
priority.
exist.
Yeah,
Wasn't
wasn't the
really
goal.
the yes. It even gained hate from the locals in Uganda with comments that the film was more white than Ugandan because it failed to actually show the plight of the victims. And it was more enlightening the people who are supporting it, telling you to
It's more
spread
a feel-good
awareness.
thing, huh?
Yeah.
Like if you spread awareness, you're gonna be a good person. People are gonna like
Right.
you. So that's the message they got. That sucks.
And then there was also misleading info. For example, they talked about Kony's followers, which reached tens of thousands, when in fact it's only about hundreds.
Yeah, because
And then,
how does a Ugandan warlord reach tens of thousands without spilling
And-
over every country? Okay, anyway.
and then another thing, location of Kony was believed to be Central African Republic, not Uganda.
He was in a car.
Though later they found out that Kony's army fled to northern Uganda in 2006. However,
Did they move again?
officials in Uganda states that there was no war in the country, contrary to what the documentary suggests, that it wasn't a good representation of their country because it's just saying that, oh yeah, there's this huge big war in Uganda, which is not true.
So it was magnified just so that they
Yeah.
can create this fad.
Basically,
So it
yes.
is true that
So-
only Ugandans know the way.
Yeah,
Knuckles.
and an update as of 2015. This is the last thing that we would know about it. In 2015, Ongwen, who is a key member of the LRA, surrendered himself,
Oh.
crippling Kony and his troops even more. And by
Aha.
April 2017, which is the very, very last thing we hear from this Kony 2012 thing, Ugandan and U.S. military force ended their hunt for Kony, stating that the LRA is actually no longer a threat in Uganda. So they never really apprehended Kony. So
He
we don't
just
know
kind of
anything where
faded.
he is right now or
It
how
just
he is.
died down.
It just died down
wow.
because LRA was no longer a threat. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, didn't the I got this wrong, right? Because I thought that the documentation actually led to the apprehension of the guy. Of Kony.
No.
But that's
No,
the hoax,
it
huh?
didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of people say that because of Kony 2012, though there were more attention brought to it, it didn't really change the efforts to do it because there were already efforts to apprehend him long before Kony 2012 came out.
Oh,
But
wow.
it was only then that people around the world learned about it. So, yeah. I guess it's good for awareness, but not really to change anything because people didn't really do anything to change.
Yeah.
I mean, for real though, you got countries like Liberia or others like that. I just suddenly forgot the others where these warlords are not unique. They're like common. They're pretty common. Some of them even work for the government with
Yes.
children soldiers.
Right. Yeah, and that's also one thing from the criticism is that they made Kony infamous in some sort. I mean, famous, not infamous, rather. They focused on Kony so much that they tried to cover up all the other warlords that were also causing problems in Africa.
Not necessarily
and they
cover
gave him some sort of a super villain status.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like when
pop
in fact it
culture
was just another
supervillain
fish
thing.
Yeah,
in the
that's-
pond. Another Koini, if you will.
So yeah, that's Kony
God, I
2012
gotta
for you
stop.
guys.
Coiny, fish in the pond. Oh my god, I'll just mute you. Okay, speaking of supervillains,
All right.
They fly. Let's fly on to the next topic, will we?
Okay, no, yeah, what? Let's talk about something that doesn't have anything to do with over-the-top violence and with villains.
But
Let's talk about
that
what?
has something to do. No,
What?
we're going to talk about the next thing we're going to talk about has something to do with villains and flying.
The Avengers. Need I say
Oh.
more? 2012, that's when the decade of Marvel and the MCU began. I mean, officially began. There were a few movies in that MCU before that,
What was
but
the Avengers theme
that's-
song again?
that's when they put together this team of superheroes that, unlike the X-Men or the Fantastic Four, those
Justice League.
Avengers or Justice League. No, I'm talking about. Wait, was there a Justice League movie before that?
No. Animated movies, yeah, there were.
Yeah, because I was talking about like blockbuster movies. There's already been there have been X-Men movies. There's been a Fantastic Four movie or two, but that was the first time that like a superhero team came together where the members became known as independent superheroes in their movies, and that was
yeah.
crazy just to see them team up and assemble.
Yeah, and this was like the first step the MCU took that really blew up the MCU.
Yeah.
Yes.
This
Wasn't
was
that
when
Iron Man?
MCU started to peak.
Yeah, when Iron Man,
Kind of.
the first Iron Man came out, that was like after where the first step of this plan where the rights to all those
Yeah.
superheroes
Yeah, phase one.
were given to the
Yeah.
same studio, so they could eventually build up
Yeah.
this huge universe.
Yeah, that
Before
was
that,
another
all those
problem.
different
Like, I hated that.
problem.
Yeah, I hated that superheroes belong to different studios, so they can't work together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good thing Spider-Man went back.
Spider-Man. Poor boy.
But 2012 Avengers?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
That,
Can you imagine? It's 8 years ago. That was 8 years ago.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Ugh.
just like that, superhero movies were suddenly everywhere. I mean, it's not just that Marvel tried it. There was how do they call it, the DCEU,
Yeah.
the DC something universe.
DCU.
Yeah, well, they
EU,
tried
yeah,
it,
more
but
like EU.
I'm just kidding.
But I like the solo
Wonder
solo
Woman.
movies. Is that what you call them?
Justice League wasn't bad. Wonder Woman
was.
wasn't
Excuse me.
bad.
Justice League.
Well, it wasn't like how the older DC movies were. This was you can see clearly that they were trying to make they were
can
trying
we
to
just
do
say-
something
Trying
to
to make money,
battle
yes.
MCU.
Yeah. Trying
Yeah.
to make cash.
Yeah, but I like a Wonder Woman. What else? I like
That's it.
So yeah,
Aquaman. Not that bad, but yeah, let's move on.
Who else is there?
so
no,
I
okay.
really like Wonder Woman. Moving on.
Well, I remember there was this one day or one night when we went to the movies in Kamloops in Canada, and literally every other poster was a superhero movie, like just Marvel, DC,
Yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Lego Batman movie or something. Then another Spider-Man.
Yeah, I
into the
wrote this
multiverse thing.
essay for my grade 12 something English class. It was all about how superhero movies are running the movie industry.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And let's see.
They make a lot of money. Gosh.
And they're not even about to stop. I mean, before the Avengers, there were 5 movies: Iron Man 1 and 2, the Hulk, and what else? What?
Thor. Was
Iron
Thor
Man
there?
3.
No,
The
Iron Man 3 came
infamous
after
Daredevil.
Oh, no,
Oh, yeah,
please.
I know that until
No,
Phase
not that.
4, there were like 17 more movies, so we're dealing with 23, and
Jeez.
the next
Yeah, and
ones-
they're not stopping at all.
right.
They
And
still
the
got
next
So
one
many
should
in
be,
production.
Black
The
Widow.
one with the yeah, the
Yeah,
one with
Black Widow.
Then there's another Doctor Strange
so much
coming.
more.
The
There's a
Eternals,
Spider-Man.
and the next Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Good
Exciting
times. Good
though.
times. Yeah.
Very.
I like Marvel.
Yeah, that was a rather short one, just to ease the tension a bit.
Yeah,
Fine.
anyway, let's talk about 2012 phenomenon.
Well, we're going to be talking about 2020 phenomenon too.
They were
It's
short
Yeah.
for
probably
8
the
years.
actual.
Phenomena, but that phenomenon when everyone thought the world was ending.
No.
Now I get it.
Yeah. people really thought that December 21, 2012 would be the end of the world because this was the end date of the Mayan calendar. So, according to New York Times, a New Age interpretation believed that the date marked the start of a period during which Earth and its inhabitants would undergo a positive physical or spiritual transformation.
Ooh, that sounds wonderful.
Wait a second.
Yeah, just extra information. Did you know that there's this cult
Of
which still
course there's a
exists, and they
cult.
have this really weird website where
Oh, yeah.
they believe that
Heaven's Gate.
Earth is flat.
Heaven's Gate, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, and the website is still up.
Yeah.
The website is still up, and
Are there still members?
Mm-hmm.
there are just 2 known members who are taking care of the
Website.
website.
They're like shepherding the
because
next generation to go back to the
because
Halley's
30
Comet.
because 30 members of this cult committed suicide to go to the other side where they think they'll be
Wow.
No, the
like,
thing is, look,
safe,
it was
kind of.
Halley's Comet was coming around Earth,
Mhm.
and they believed it was an alien spaceship piloted by their deity. So while it was passing
Yep.
over Earth, they killed themselves, and then they left this skeleton crew to run the website so that they could shepherd the next generation when Halley's Comet comes back.
Yeah. So anyway, and that date, the December 21st, 2012, would be the mark of the beginning of a new era, according to this New Age interpretation. While others suggested that the date marked the end of the world or a similar catastrophe, some even believe that the world is ending because of the arrival of the next solar maximum, an interaction between Earth and the supermassive black hole at the center of the galaxy. Or Earth will be colliding with a certain mythical planet called Nibiru. So those are the different theories.
They were
Wow.
8 years too early.
I could say that the transcension of humanity was Marvel.
Absolutely successful. No questions there.
So, of course, people started counting down and waited. They had events, parties, festivals, and everything for this date. In China, for example, Christian cult called Almighty God were arrested after claiming that the end of Pt.1, which is the Mayan calendar, marked, or I think it's the date itself, marked the end of the world and that it was time to overthrow communism.
Wait,
Oh, nice.
So they
they're
were
a
all
Christian
arrested.
cult. Why are they using the Mayan calendar?
I don't know.
They have their own
Well, they
calendar.
call it Pt.1 13, so they're referring to that date from the Mayan calendar. So
Okay.
yeah, and then Australian Prime Minister Julia Gillard
Oh,
Gillard
God. A whole
delivered a
prime
hoax
minister.
speech for the radio station Triple J, in which she declared, quote unquote, "My dear remaining fellow Australians, the end of the
Remaining?
world is coming. Whether the final blow comes from flesh-eating zombies, demonic hell beasts, or from the total triumph of K-pop, if you know one thing
She's
about
just
me,
kidding.
it is this.
It's just a joke.
I will always fight for you to the very end." Of course, she was just kidding, but she received a lot of criticism
Well, you shouldn't
giving
underestimate
that people.
the threat that K-pop poses.
I bet those the hate mail she got was from K-pop stans.
The weeaboos.
No. She knew from then.
Korea boos.
What? How?
How?
The Carabao.
You lost your train of thought.
Just
Oh.
No, I just.
Oh,
His train of
She
thought
knew
got
from back
2012.
then how intense they would be.
Yeah. Prophecy.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister of Australia was warning us.
Now we wait for the zombies and the demonic hell beasts.
2012
K-pop's
is a
here.
transcension of
We just-
humanity,
Oh my
and
God.
2020 is the rise of the K-pop stans.
Anyway, and in December 2012, the French government even placed 100 police and firefighters around both Bugarak and
Yeah.
Pic de
Yeah.
Bugarak,
yeah.
limiting. I don't know. I am sorry. if
Borarak.
Eid Bugarak.
it's French, so I
Bugarak.
wouldn't know how to pronounce it. I'm very sorry.
Personenbeförderung.
So- so limiting access to potential visitors because mystic believers who had concluded that the local mountain, Pic de Bugarak, was the ideal location to be safe from the phenomenon. So thousands and thousands of people kept visiting it over the years. They had to limit access, and December 2012 they had to put up barriers so people won't
My word.
go there. Some even calling that mountain, the garage of the UFOs.
The garage.
The garage of the UFOs.
UFOs have a garage.
Yeah. But then, of course, the date came and went with no catastrophic event or gigantic apocalypse. So
Everyone looked
people
like a
felt
fool.
silly after that. They just then made a movie about it
Oh god, that movie.
called
2013.
2012.
Oh, 2012. Oh, it's called.
Wait, did the movie come out after or before 2012?
I think it was after.
I
it
think it came in the middle. It didn't.
They-
It
They
came
probably
before
didn't
December
want to
21st.
start filming
of
something knowing
2012.
that it's gonna be the
Oh,
end of the
no.
world.
I
So
think
all
it
the
It was in
investors are
2009.
fled.
What? It was
Wait, what?
2009.
Another thing we forgot about.
Oh,
Wow.
totally. Yeah,
I'm
but
sorry, I
that was
did
not in the
not-
last decade.
Huh.
Oh yeah,
Huh.
true.
Speaking
Yeah.
of movies, haha, movies. What's the last movie you
Is
watched?
movie on? I watched Extraction
you
and I
watched?
enjoyed every second of it. Like, oh my
Ooh.
gosh.
I watched.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Who was
watch
that? Chris
it then.
Hemsworth?
Mm-hmm. Thor just beating the heck out of people in Bangladesh.
Yikes!
But
Hannah?
he's Australian there, mate. Yeah, he's not
What was your
Nordic
last
god or
movie?
anything.
Last movie for us was Speak,
Speak.
2004, starring Kristen Stewart.
My last movie was. Oh my god! This really ugly, low-budget film called Last Shift. I did not enjoy it.
Where did you watch it?
It was not good for me. Like it was okay, but
Where did you watch it?
I watched it in my room with a friend.
I mean,
Dude, I mean, which
okay, that's a piece of
which
information.
streaming platform, or did you download it?
Oh, we can't
or-
talk about that.
Yeah,
we're
we can't.
law-abiding citizens.
Yeah.
Hush.
I totally got it. In
So
the
you acquired it
Secrecy
legally.
is
That's
a
what you wanted
must.
to say. Good.
Anyway.
Okay, that didn't work out as planned. I was expecting you to say this movie on Netflix, or this movie on Netflix,
Well,
or
my
this
movie
movie on
was on
Amazon Prime.
Netflix.
Oh no! Yeah, I totally used Netflix in the last 24 hours. Don't worry.
Yeah, right.
So yeah.
Oh, are we gonna talk about Netflix?
We're totally going to talk about Netflix.
Oh yeah, we gotta.
I mean,
chill.
I could have just named this entry like Netflix happened or streaming happened.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
no. At first, I wanted to be a bit more specific than that because this is not what I'm going to name this entry. And second, it would be wrong because, to be precise, Netflix entered the streaming market as early as 2007, and it was founded in,
2001.
a lot earlier.
No, 90s. Somewhere in the 90s or really
Huh?
early, because they would
We're getting
mail.
that?
They would mail the
yeah,
discs.
they're renting.
Yeah,
like
it's a rent.
Yeah, they
thing.
were
Just
they were
like
in the process of killing
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster, and then they succeeded in the 2000s.
1997, right?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
I was
but no,
5
this
years
entry,
old.
this thing that happened in the last decade that you probably forgot about was the first Netflix original series
Oh,
that was launched.
Oh,
Which
can I
is-
guess what it was?
Guess what it was?
No clue. Go ahead.
Stranger Things.
Okay, good. What else is
No.
there? Oh, Hannah knows already.
2000.
No, I totally
Wait,
forgot.
what year are we talking about? 2013,
2013.
and it was a series.
Yeah.
I have
Provinciano.
no clue.
What?
Oh!
Netflix. What?
Wait. Is it? Did it start already as a Netflix original series, or did Netflix pick it up?
No, the purpose of a Netflix original series is that they publish it and no one else gets to
Yeah.
publish it. They usually
They
fund it
started
and they
Okay.
usually, right.
No, but like
But
right
yeah.
now, like shows like Dynasty are playing on the CW, I think, and they're also a Netflix original series.
But they were on Netflix first, right?
No.
No?
Huh.
Dynasty. Oh, I'll have to do my research on that. But to
Oh,
bring
was that
some
the
light.
one where Juicy Smollier is?
But
No.
that
Juicy.
did not start.
Juicy.
Dynasty didn't start in 2013.
Yeah, no, but it's not my guess. It's
Oh,
just,
okay.
yeah.
It's
So
House
I
of
don't know.
Cards, people.
My
House
guess
of
House of Cards?
Yeah.
was a
Wait,
Netflix
what?
original series.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
it is.
That was the first Netflix original, the first one that was entirely
La Casa de Papel.
Exclusive.
exclusive to Netflix originals, right? And it's such an important year or such an important occurrence
Wait,
because
jeez.
Hmm?
No, I just totally confused House of Cards with La Casa de Papel. Anyway.
House of Cards are made of paper.
Yeah.
Paper is papel.
Mm-hmm.
House of
Casa
paper.
is house.
They're
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Next up.
Yeah, no.
No, but they're not the same thing, people.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, and I'd say publishing or the year of the first Netflix original is super important thing because it has introduced us to concepts that we have not known before, like binge watching.
Ah, yes.
So because all those seasons or all those episodes were published on the same day, or in a matter of a week or something, one could just sit down and just gorge on all the content there is.
Yeah.
Spend entire nights on what else is there?
Without
Cards.
House of Cards, people will go insane sooner in quarantine
Yeah, I think that's something.
because like Netflix original movies and series wouldn't be like very big.
Right. I mean, this one has triggered, like the age of not just Netflix originals, but there's Amazon Prime. There's what else is there? HBO. All these Hulu. All these studios that
Quibi.
that publish stuff that are exclusive to them, and they're like adjusted to the streaming way of publishing content. Like you
Of television.
Well, you could argue, is it television or not?
Oh
Is
yeah,
that
well,
the new television?
the
I don't
industry.
know. But one of the interesting thing is that Netflix, for example, when it comes to greenlighting originals, they give their creators an unusual amount of influence and of freedom, whereas that wouldn't be the case in TV,
Yeah,
the traditional
yeah.
TV.
A lot of censorship.
Yeah, right. And that, of course, leads to some experiments. Some of them would turn out good eventually, and some of them would be like stinkers.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, would we have things like Stranger Things or La Casa de Papel if it weren't for the freedom that Netflix granted their creators? That's something that would make this, or that makes this, in my opinion, super important. Okay, then. Lacking a better segue to this, I'll just say MH370.
Ooh.
Does that spark memories?
No. What's that?
Oh, wow.
Dude,
No,
the
we're just
Malaysian
talking about one of the
Airlines
greatest mysteries in
disappearing?
aviation history, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, no,
It's
no,
so
no.
much of a mystery that
okay,
you
so
can-
I
you can
wouldn't
even
remember the exact flight number, but yes, that was a big thing.
Yeah, and can you imagine it was 2014?
6
Bruh.
years ago.
Yeah.
What?
This was
Yeah, tell
Malaysian
us about it,
flight.
Heiko.
What? 14?
370.
317. Okay.
There was another one
Yes.
that was close to that. I'll just mention it briefly later, but for now, let's go for this one, which is, like I said, one of, if not the most greatest mystery in aviation history.
Yes.
Like materials for films and conspiracy theories alike. So yeah, 6 years ago, the Malaysian Airlines flight 370 disappeared on its way from Malaysia's capital, and now you'd have to help me, Kuala Lumpur,
Kuala
Yep.
Lumpur. Yep.
Correct.
to Beijing, and there were 239 people on board, and except a
Jeez.
few wreckage part, except a tiny bit of debris, there was nothing found
As
from
in nothing.
Yeah.
as
It
in
was
nothing.
super odd.
No voice recorder, no blackboard, nothing.
Oh really? There was no
Yep,
there was no
no.
black box recording.
Right. Blackboard? Did I
They
say
didn't-
blackboard? Oh
Yes.
my God! I said black box.
For a moment there, I
And everyone
thought
just
I
went
just
with it.
misheard
It's
it.
wonderful.
Frantically writing down everything that's going on in the plane.
And they lose it. They lose the blackboard because it was erased during the
So much
crash.
either- it's a serious issue, okay? It's a serious thing.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Let's
Sorry.
compose ourselves.
So black box.
That was not found, right? And the common assumption is that the plane flew for a few more hours after it had disappeared from the radar and then just crashed somewhere. But where?
Probably
And
like
why?
in like
No one knows.
water.
Yeah,
No?
that's highly likely. But then some
Yeah,
debris
because
or
if
bodies
there's
even would
only-
have floated by.
That's true.
Here's something spooky.
No, but they're in the plane.
Ooh, it's something spooky.
Well, not spooky, but it's gonna maybe send a shiver down your spine.
Oh,
So
Yeah,
the plane
it
took off
does.
at 40 past midnight. There were no abnormalities, nothing in the first 39 minutes. And the pilot had an accumulated 33 years of professional experience. The aircraft is considered one of the safest in the world, or has been considered back then. The captain's and the captain's last radio message was, "Good night, Malaysia 370." And that's it.
What?
Oh, I just had goosebumps.
Wait, how do they know that?
I know
Oh,
that.
that's their
That's when
because
the
they're
last
talking
recording.
to a flight tower.
not recording.
Oh.
Yeah, and
Oh.
Yeah,
just,
not
the pilot
not
just
the
said
black
good
box.
night.
Yeah, yeah,
as
yeah,
in,
yeah.
good night, I'll see you tomorrow. But tomorrow never came for these 239 people.
This is like This was so.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it was so big because of how it happened.
Yeah, and that
Yes.
until now, we don't really know
What
where
happened? Yeah.
where the airplane is and what happened to it.
Right. So, I mean, the explanations as to why that happened, they range from a lack of fuel to suicide of the pilot or shooting down
Wow.
or hijacking, all that. But these
Or
are,
Bermuda Triangle,
yeah, absolutely.
alien
Like,
abduction.
aliens.
Maybe
Aliens
they
are
went
always.
too close to the wall of the world, and then the NASA super soldiers shot them down because they were too close to the edge.
Yeah, because
Wow.
it's flat, right? Because the Earth's flat.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, so there's nothing which makes it so damn eerie.
Mm-hmm.
People.
Yeah.
Disappeared.
Poof.
Yeah.
And I still can't believe it was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Feels like-
That's why we're doing this.
Kind of humbling to a certain point of view that something that massive that carries 200 something people just disappears.
Without
Right.
a trace, yo. And the search for the wreckage is officially over since 2018 without any conclusion.
2018.
What did I say?
218.
2018. 2K18. Excuse me. That's how cool kids say it. And only conclusion is that an influence of third parties is not excluded. They're not of the opinion, or the authorities are not of the opinion, that the pilot could have been behind the event. And, well, since, like I said, the black box and the voice recorder have never been found, we'll probably never even know.
Never know.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't even the worst, or not even the only disaster for the Malaysian Airlines
Bruh.
this
Yeah.
year. Because later in the
Yeah.
year, not even
the
that much
same
later.
year.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
2 months later, or what? March, März, April, Mai, Juni. 3 to 4 months later, Malaysian Airlines Flight 17 was shot down by a Russian anti-aircraft missile. That was-
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
Yeah, so that hasn't been confirmed, right? That's because until now there isn't really a confirmation if they were indeed shut down. They
Yeah.
were allegedly.
Allegedly, which is why I'm not touching that. Just saying that happened too.
When was the last time you took a
A bath.
cold shower?
A while ago.
I never take cold showers.
Oh, the transition! I love it. Oh my god.
Just a while
Okay,
ago.
so there was this. No, I'm going to ask you a question. In length. At length. How do you say that? Never
At
mind.
length.
At length, yeah. In exhausting detail. So there was this one time when our warm water heater was broken, and we had no clue how to fix it, so we just took showers
Oh no.
with cold water.
So back in 2014, there was this viral challenge in social media
Oh,
called.
the cold shower
You guys
challenge.
know what it is? The
Oh, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
Hey.
yes, the ice bucket
Wow.
challenge.
No, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, dude.
It happened. Oh, as well. It happened 6 years ago, 2014.
That I can believe. That I can believe is 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God!
So
I just
remember when people were pouring ice cold bucket of water over their heads, filming it, and then
and then nominating
they would
another person.
eventually donate money.
But here, wait, sorry. Could I s-
money.
Money.
Yeah.
donate money to the
Many
ALS
money.
Mm-hmm.
association. But the thing is, what happened was people will just do the ice bucket challenge,
Without the donation.
not even mentioning anything about ALS.
Yeah.
Wait, so they
well,
would cover themselves with ice water just to avoid donating?
Just no. Just to post on Instagram
Just
that
as the
they are
challenge.
part of the
It
challenge
yeah,
thing.
it was like
Although
a-
celebrities and influential people and politicians and other influential people would of course donate. I mean, yeah.
It was a tactic. It was a good
But-
thing. Like
How does the ice bucket challenge connect to ALS?
Okay, let me tell you about ALS. So ALS means amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. So this is a progressive neurodegenerative disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and in the spinal cord. So in ALS, these nerve cells called motor neurons slowly degenerates, ultimately shutting down their bodily functions bit by bit. So patients in the later stages of the disease may become totally paralyzed. So that's what ALS
Damn.
does.
So what's the ice bucket
So
for?
therefore, maybe because ice cold bucket of water would kind of turn you numb.
frozen? Isn't that kind of insensitive?
no. I don't think. I don't think.
I
no.
am not
Right.
sure.
It was just to have a challenge connected to the foundation so that
Just
people
to challenge
be
the people to donate.
more eager to donate.
Yeah, that was just my poor attempt in connecting it, but there wasn't really any announcement that that was the connection, so forgive me. But yeah, so essentially this ice bucket challenge went viral and people started doing it, of course, and a lot of celebrities, influential people started doing it, and they donated a lot of money. So it raised a total of $115 million for ALS awareness and research.
Not bad.
And good news, it even led to the discovery of a link between a gene mutation and ALS, which could possibly help develop a new treatment, which was thought to be impossible before.
Nice.
Hey.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite thing about the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge was?
Mm-hmm.
It was all those botched videos where someone had someone else holding a bucket of water above their head and then just dropping it.
They drop it.
Yeah.
Drops
Or
a cooler on their
slipping
head.
because the
Yeah.
floor was wet.
But my favorite was Sir Ian Patrick. Ian who?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sir
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart.
Wow, where did I get
Patrick
Ian? Okay, Sir Patrick Stewart. He did this in a posh manner where he was in front of a candlelit table with a white cloth over it, and then a waitress or a maitre d',
A butler.
something like that,
Uh-huh.
delivered him a small steel bucket full of ice because that's where you put the wine in it, but there wasn't
Right.
any wine in it, and then he went ahead and this is me doing the ALS ice water bucket challenge, and I nominate so and so to do so after me, and then he just poured it over himself in the most royal manner I've ever seen.
That's
Oh,
cute.
wonderful. I'll give that a watch.
Yeah, so although a lot of people would get into the bandwagon and do the challenge without donating, it was
It's
still a good
yeah.
it was still a good way of spreading awareness, essentially raising a huge amount of money for donations and research and all that. And that's it for the Ice Bucket Challenge. That's 2014. That
For you.
concludes, for now, our part one. The part one of going back in time.
There's gonna
Going
be
back
a
into
sequel.
the decade.
Yeah, I think
There's
we're
gonna
gonna
be a
make it a
sequel.
trilogy. Trilogy? Yeah.
A
thrilling
trilogy. I
trilogy.
like that.
A trilogy.
It's
Yeah.
thrilling.
Thrilling.
It comes in 3.
So, since that is the part one, that's only the part one of our trilogy. Wait for the takeaway next episode, I guess.
Wait, there's gonna be a part 3?
No, I don't know.
So it's not a trilogy.
It's
It's just a trilogy.
Two.
Duology.
Pair. A duo series. 2 kind of pair thing.
There's just gonna be a part 2, guys.
And that's it for now. That's our last event that we would remind you of. And since this is just part 1, we are doing the takeaway in part
For
2.
now.
So watch out for that.
Ooh, there is more. Stay tuned, guys.
There'll be more. It's
Yeah.
a cliffhanger
And
Part
episode.
2, Electric Boogaloo.
All right, with that being said, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at hanajipuri for myself, at potato_gami for Hammad, where he shows off his art and writing skills.
I'm still working.
and
I'm
he's
still working,
doing-
I swear.
He's doing a challenge right now, a video game character challenge. We have at Heiko Heilig, where you
Where?
would see
I just
A
discovered
screen
stories.
that says
Yeah, he has stories.
no
posts
post yet,
But stories though.
he has a highlight and and he posts stories now.
Ooh, a highlight, high career.
Yeah, for like a
Ooh,
50-year-old, I'm
highlight.
doing fine.
And of course, lastly, we have at Yaspuri. Don't forget to check his YouTube as well, his Spotify, and other accounts which are linked on his Instagram.
And lastly, add Little Alfric on
Oh,
Instagram.
yes.
Our cat.
Our little
Never
star
mentioned him.
mascot.
Yeah.
That's it for today's episode. Tune in next week to find out which takeaways we 4 weirdos have picked to talk about next. Hopefully that completes your order. Thanks for lilistening to
The
Four
Four
Takeaway
Takeaway
Podcast.
Podcast. Dun, 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 dun. Hashtag only 2012. Hashtag 2012 is the end of the world.
Hashtag selectivism.
Would you like that for dining?
Or for takeaway.
For takeaway.